Hey, do you ever wonder what a Gen X thinks? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Gen X Talks.
Yeah, the shock of your life. Well, can you hear my voice? Do you hear what I'm up against? I have to get real close. Now, you got, for all you ladies in the audience, it's going to seem real sexy. Down low Wolfman Jack style, but it's not. Welcome to the bottom of the glass nation. Welcome to the Gen X Talks live stream, broadcasting 200 feet below occupied California. We are still in California in the middle of our move, and I'm doing the best I can with my voice. I have Bima, my mother-in-law. She passed away. Before she did, we got a recipe of Jim Beam, of Jim Beam, and a little honey inside there, and that's helping my throat. I will go as long as I can, and then we'll have to call it a night. But I will do the best I can. Look, I showed up. Even in this condition, I showed up. All right, look who's decided to show up.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Well, we don't care.
I'm not worthy.
So what we need to do is start the evening with the $1.2 million view. You raise your glass, I'll raise mine. This is the sun setting through a jar of Pendleton over the mountains surrounding South Lake Tahoe, courtesy of the Sun Valley Fox. This is from the occupied territory of Minden Studios in the 9 Mile exclusion zone. But if you guys can raise your glass, I'll just drink mine periodically. We can kick this pig and get started. Remember to put the cat out, let the dog in, and remember, you have to drink also. I will drink and tell lies. You will drink and believe them. If you're not doing your part, well, then you're not carrying your half of the show. And everything falls apart. We might as well just stop. All right, let me jump over to. I'm just going to go right to the pick section. There's my wife. There she is.
I'm here.
You through screwing around now?
No.
You done screwing off?
No.
So here's the deal. Now, we could give you a bunch of stuff. I do got to get some housekeeping out of the way, but we decided, because I wasn't sure how long my voice was going to last, that if we drug this thing out forever, if we kept talking about stuff forever and ever and ever, guess what? We may not get to the part of the New York City show, which is what you guys are tuning in for tonight. So we're going to cover all the befores, durings, and afters, the little side things that went on in the next podcast, whether we do one tomorrow or whether we just skip last week's and we have to wait until Wednesday. Not sure. But that's the way that's going to go. But what we'll do is we'll get through some housekeeping stuff. We got some pictures and got a few stories, and we'll kind of pick up right when we got there to the hotel. That way, if I run out of voice, I won't run out of voice right as we get to the meat of the story. So,
for sure.
And get all the way to the end and go, okay, I'm all the way done.
You now, take it from here.
This is right where we got to the hotel, and I'm done. We'll talk to you tomorrow or something. Put it off to next week. I won't do that to you. But we do want you to remember, if you didn't get the notification, to join Patreon. Boy, I'll tell you what, you Patreon members, you got your dollar's worth today. You got a bunch of stuff. There must have been 5 or 6 posts today alone, just behind the scenes stuff and stuff to talk about from Patreon. It's $1. Good moderators can put up the links right now. Good moderators and Disney Kid. Disney Kid, Chris Yerger, who's fumbling around Facebook with all 11 of you. So if he can't get you the link, then we got to replace
I thought you weren't supposed to say a number.
I don't know the number. I made it up. So there's
then don't do a number.
You keep quiet, woman. You just keep quiet. All right. Also, remember to join Wordle and play. Wordle is for free with the New York Times, but we all play it together on Discord. That means you're going to get 2 links. You're going to get one to Wordle, and you're going to get one for Discord, just because it's a lot of fun. Discord's free, Wordle's free, but we all post our little, at the end, you can post your little picture on how you did. It's kind of fun to see how everybody did.
And you can see the general give a tantrum when he doesn't do it right.
No, I give a tantrum when it's a fucked up word. Fuck Wordle and all that shit. All right, one more thing, too, is that we did put out some No More Gold coins. You guys know we've partnered up. We have a temporary alliance with the Banana Sauce Union. This is not permanent.
Is there a treaty?
There's a temporary treaty in place
okay.
with the Banana Sauce Union, and we sent out Dr. Shadowlight, as you guys know him there. He's got access to a lot of areas, and especially Texas. Guy, you guys wanted all the coins in Texas because there's so many of you in Texas. So he's going to take care of a lot of those, and we'll get those out. The pictures will come back in and the clues as soon as we get them out. Now, I do want to say something else. There's a couple things here. Apparently, I get a picture today. This is the picture I get. It's a blurry coin picture, and it's sent to me. And I guess it got posted in Discord, too. And it's this kid. He's like, hey, I found this coin. I think that's coin 26. I didn't know much about it. I'm like, well, can you get a better picture? I mean, this is kind of blurry. There's no you. I mean, where'd you find it? What car are you driving? What do you look like? And you hold it up? Something. This you're going to like this. This is cute.
Okay.
I didn't get an answer from the guy, although I found out his name is Mike. I got a letter from his mommy. His mommy sent me a letter and said, hey, my son, and you're going to like this part too. He drove 3.5 hours.
Who's he? The kid
Mike,
did?
3.5 hours to go look for this coin.
Okay.
He drove 3.5 hours. He scouted around till he found it. He pried it loose, took this blurry ass picture, and then was currently driving home when I got the email. So he's going to be gone 7 or 8 hours just to get this coin because he thought he knew where he could find it. And he did. He got it.
Okay.
So here's what's funny is that I'm in Discord, and there's a Discord is just a bunch of chat rooms for old people. There's food, and there's politics, and there's cars, and just there's all sorts of stuff.
It's fun.
One of them in there was gold coins, because we talk about the gold coins every now and then. And so I'm in there and I'm saying, can we get a better picture? This is a dumb picture. Can it not be a blurry picture? Can it have your face? Well, coincidentally, another one of you guys, Pukey McFisty, you guys know Pukey McFisty, he found one of the gold coins. So he was catching on to the thing of, can we get a better picture? Can we have your face? Can we have your name? Can we do something? Come on, do something a little better than this bullshit. Which is what I was accusing Mike of. I was accusing Mike of it all being bullshit. And so Pukey McFisty, he sent me a picture also of his coin. I would say there's a little more style to his picture. This is the Pukey McFisty said, I found coin 28. This is more in line what we're looking for. So
Unbelievable.
Mike, a little bit on the not so good side, a little blurry picture of the hand there. Pukey McFisty getting it done. That's got to
Leave it to a Gen Xer to come up with that one.
That is my favorite coin recovery picture of all time. That's my favorite one forever so far. That's the greatest one. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna do something else for you guys. I'm gonna take a second here. I'll let my wife talk if she needs to. Gen X mom, you're queen. And let me, I'm going to empty the jar, so it's going to take a second.
All right. Well, tonight we are celebrating a birthday. Our very own Florida man, Scott Aherns, is celebrating 57 laps around the sun tonight. So happy birthday, Scott. Happy birthday, Florida man. Whichever you're going with tonight, we want to wish you a happy birthday. Hope you're in the chat. I didn't see you. I was kind of busy. John Morgan in YouTube, $2. Happy National Star Wars Day Eve. He's going with the Eve.
Eve, Star Wars Day Eve. Doesn't roll off the tongue very well.
No, it doesn't. Star Roberts is gifted 5 memberships already tonight on YouTube. If you hop over to YouTube and open up your chat to say you will accept memberships, you may get into the random YouTube
we have no control over
thing
that.
about that.
You guys know we don't. Yeah. We don't choose. You guys email me every week. Can I get a free membership? I don't know. I don't have any control over that.
No.
Star Roberts comes in with a few others, swings the big wallet around, drops memberships. YouTube decides who gets them, not us. We have no way of knowing.
Yes.
Neither does Star Roberts. So don't contact Star Roberts and ask for one. He has no control over that.
He has no control. Nope, not at all. And then one more. Aaron Heath over on Facebook says we need some coins in Indiana.
Yeah, I'll get right on that. I'll be right there. I got a lot of free time on my hands right now. So
we'll just drive over there.
Yeah, why
tonight.
not? We're on our way. We'll drive on our way to Nevada.
We can go to Nevada and then swing over to Indiana.
Shortcut
No big
around
deal.
Indiana to Nevada. All right. So the light is green, the trap is clean, the jar is empty, and you guys can go. We talked about Wordle. We talked about McFeasty. So
we're done with all the housekeeping.
Housekeeping's out of the way. So
Thank
let's
God.
get
Sweep
to
that
the
under the
matter
rug.
at hand. You guys all know this was a post on the website for a while that Chris Cuomo, who I've become friends on there, he's asked me to go to the town hall. But the problem was I wasn't allowed to call in. President Trump got to call in. Steve Bannon got to video chat his way in. No.
He did.
He wanted my fat ass on a plane. To which I'm like, no, I'm not going on a plane. I'm not getting on a plane.
But the wife said, you're going.
Yeah, so we compromised and I got on a plane.
And you went on a plane.
So I said no. My wife said yes. We compromised. We got on the plane and we went. Now I'm going to skip all the stuff about taking pictures in the bathroom at LaGuardia and having everybody think I was weird. Let's just wait. Okay, I think we can all wait on that. So the town hall was supposed to be a big deal. Now, a lot of people did the first 100 days of Trump being in office. ABC did one, NBC. Trump did a live one on stage. You guys all saw that. Everybody did a first 100 days. I was extremely impressed with how many people Chris got on his show and how smooth and how fluid it went. There was a downside to that, is that all the town hall people didn't get to speak, like hardly at all, almost none. I think that would have been a good first 2 hours, and then the second 2 hours could have been, the town hall, the people talking. But that I'm not in charge of anything, and no one asks me dick. This is a picture that got circulated around and talked about. You can't really read; it's kind of blurry. About it says Mark Mendenhall, host of Mark Mendenhall, our Gen X Talks host Mark Mendenhall, and Democratic strategist James Carville debate. Wasn't much of a debate during the show or after. The guy's kind of an asshole. He was kind of mean, kind of a dickish to everybody. Bill O'Reilly fucking got fed up, blew him out of the water, and then he went to leave early. He goes, I'm leaving early. So during commercial break, he gets up, and I got up, and Chris was like, no, wait a minute, don't go. I shook his hand and said, let him the fuck go. Who cares? Just let him the fuck out of here. Well, if you're going to go, let him fucking go. He's kind of being a dick anyway. So everyone's like, Chris was like, all right, let him fucking go. So he left. But you'll see a picture of me shaking his hand. That was right as I was saying, let the fucking guy leave. Who gives a shit if he's here? So the interesting thing about this picture was, as you can see, I love the fact that my wife is in almost every picture with me. She was sitting right there with me. They were going to originally put her in the back. Just the front row was for
VIPs.
Okay, the VIPs.
That's what they called you, was a VIP.
All right. Well,
the whole time we were there.
So I love that she got to sit there. That was great, and it worked out really well. Now, I sent this picture to your older brother, the Sun Valley Fox.
Okay.
And he sent me a very nice reply. Clearly, he was drunk. Clearly, he was half a bottle of Pendleton into the reply.
Okay.
Because he mentioned this is a great time and did a good job and asked the right questions and that I was representing and I was a good American citizen for being there. All the things you want to hear.
Okay.
It's very nice, very touching.
Okay.
I sent the same picture to my mother.
I already know what she said.
She writes back and goes, that's a very nice picture of you. That she goes, that's a nice picture of you. Well,
that's about all you're going to get for your mom.
Anything else, Mom? Is, anything else about me getting on a plane and going it's a nice picture. So clearly my mother is a hard woman to impress. So we got to LaGuardia and the car picks us up. And I wanted them to be standing there with my name, like they do in the movies. I want my name out there where they're like looking through hundreds of people or thousands, and I have my name and I can yell, "That's my name!" And it didn't happen. The guy texts me a picture of his license plate and says, "Find me."
Yeah, Denny.
Like, okay,
his name was Denny.
So I've never had a car service before, and this guy was a black guy. Turned out to be really cool, and I said. I got in and I go, hey, do you mind if I die hard this? And he goes, what? I go, do you mind if I give this a die hard thing? Can I sit in the front like John McClane? He goes, you can if you want. I said, I'll sit in the back. So I sat in the back with my wife. But he did let me call him Argyle the whole time.
Yes, you did.
I called him Argyle. I said, for this whole trip, you're Argyle and you'll address me as John McClane. I'd never been in a car service.
We weren't in a limousine, but it was close. It was like the 2025 version of Die Hard.
But it was great because the guy played along with it the whole time. He thought it was awesome.
Oh, my God.
And we talked about all sorts of stuff driving over there. We get to the hotel and I forget. I started talking to that guy in the beige suit. He's like a general manager that stands in the lobby the whole time.
Oh, yeah. He's like the professional greeter.
Yeah, but he's like a facilitator or something. I don't know what I did. I started talking with him. We got checked in. We hurried to the hotel room. We both showered and changed and ordered some food. Just scarfed down a quick burger.
We hadn't really eaten all day because in between we flew from here to Denver. And Denver, although we had an hour and a half layover.
I remember I wasn't going to tell him all the stories about that.
It was just we didn't have much food.
We hadn't eaten all day. Hardly anything, pretzels. So I'm trying to save those stories for the podcast.
Yes, dear. Sorry.
So we ate, we showered, changed and ate, and we got down to the hotel lobby, and it was right next door to the building that Cuomo show in. There's a lot of shows in this big building, and we walked over and went inside, and I was trying to find. I was texting people like, where should I'm in the lobby. Where should I go? And this woman comes out and says, are you Mark Mendenhall? And I'm like, yes. And she says, well, come with me. Didn't know who she was. And we're walking through this thing. And I said, where are we going? Going to the studio. She goes, no, you have to go to hair and makeup.
I thought it was hilarious.
I go, what do you mean I got to go to hair and makeup? She goes, Chris wants you at hair and makeup. I said, tell Chris, no, I'm fine. She goes, you're not fine. Come on. So now remember, I'm out of the shower, so I'm looking just how I want to look. Okay.
Minus the hairspray.
Yeah, I couldn't. There's no gel, no hairspray, so I'm kind of winging it on that. But I figured, well, we're going to makeup. I can put my hair the way I want. Okay. But they take us down to this room, and they put us in this room. They're waiting for the next chair at hair and makeup, and the room's 115 degrees.
Yeah.
And there's some old guy and some old girl, couple of old people, three people in there. I say old because they're older than me. Everybody older than me is an old man. Everybody younger than me is a kid. And he's sitting there and he's all lounged back. I mean, this guy is lounged back on this couch. And
He was kicking it.
He's just talking away, and he's obviously somebody important, and I don't recognize him. And I'm just standing there, and he starts talking about China with these two older women that he's trying to impress with his vast knowledge. And he said something about China, like, I forget what he said about their ability to do stuff to us. And he'd been talking for like 20 minutes, and I finally just couldn't help it anymore. And I finally said, well, that's partially true. And he goes, who the hell are you? I said, I'm nobody. And he said, well, I'm a guest of Bill O'Reilly's. And Bill O'Reilly invited me here. I'm like, well, I'm just a dumb mechanic, but I got something to add. And so I told him I said, the real problem is medicine and microchips right now. We don't build them. We don't produce them. So if China cuts us off, we're in trouble in 30 days. We can't build facilities to create that stuff fast enough. So we got to be careful there. We just got into an argument. He still was looking down on me like, well, I'm a friend of Bill O'Reilly's, and who the fuck are you? I'm nobody. So they finally called me into hair and makeup, and I made a very strong statement. Going into the hair and makeup room, I said, look, we're clear who the talent is, right? Yeah, I'm talking to the makeup people. I said, so my wife stays out of the makeup room. You don't bring my wife in here.
Yeah, that didn't go over well.
Not at all. She came charging in because she was going to take pictures of me in makeup. She was making her life's ambition. So here's one of me in makeup, and this is Chris's stylist or makeup artist, and she's fucking with me, and she's gathering my hair, and she's spraying stuff all over me, and it was just a fucking mess. It didn't turn out right. Now, you notice my hair's now...
Yawn. Sorry, people.
Now my hair's all stringy again. It was puffy, but I've been sweating in this room, so now I'm all stringy fucked up again. And so we get through that part of my makeup's done. We go back out into the waiting room. They stuck us there for a while. This guy's not liking me too much who was in there, and the two women they like him. They're looking down on me. I was like, no, fuck him. I don't care. So they finally said, let's just go. And they take us down to the studio, which we still got half an hour before the show starts. Easy.
Yeah.
And the room was packed. Everybody was already in their seats. Everybody was where they were going.
The crew was everywhere.
Oh, they were buzzing around.
Oh, it was crazy.
So we sat down and took a quick selfie.
We had our names on the chair.
Oh, we did?
Yes, we had name cards on the chair, on the spaces for us in the front row. That was pretty cool.
Okay, I didn't know that, but that makes sense now, and I'll tell you why.
I saved those because on the back of it had our name, and on the back it said Cuomo.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, okay, if you guys saw the stage on there, this is us we took our picture. And I don't know if I can quite do it. Okay, this isn't even half the crowd. Now, try to pay attention here because this is where the story begins to get interesting. You can see me sitting on the far end. I'm like in the center all the way to the right. And I just thought that I was the last one there. So they just gave me that seat. Until you just said that, I had no idea.
Oh, no, it was marked.
That we were marked.
Nobody was supposed to sit there.
So we sit down, and the whole crowd is in. There's like 100, maybe 110 people. I think there was over 100. I think they said they invited 100 people there or so. So before they started filming, the girl gets up and says, listen, you're all crowded together. You're all too tightly packed. Let's move about 3 inches apart. Let's look a little relaxed. Let's fill up the frame. Come on, spread apart a little bit. And I turned around and said, just like you're at a Kamala Harris rally, spread out and pretend the event is really full. That didn't go over so well with half the crowd. The other half thought it was great. Why? Because half the crowd was liberals and half the crowd was conservatives. Well, I was there
Stirring up trouble already.
I was there to be me. And so now you got the host looking over like this, like, what the fuck, man? And it was funny. I thought it was
They
hilarious.
all his crew knew who you were.
Yeah, all the crew for Chris came up and shook my hand and talked to me. A couple of them
Who
took
was
pictures
Pat?
later.
Who's Pat to Chris?
I don't
Cuomo?
know. I don't know his title. But he's really tight with Chris on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's worked with him a really long time. You talked to him on the phone, and then he made it a point to find you.
Yes.
And to say hello to you and
Yeah.
shake your hand, and it was
Tons of
great.
compliments from Patty. Great guy. I enjoyed
It was
talking
great meeting
to him.
him.
We exchanged cell phone numbers in there. I can talk to, he's
very
a
cool.
wonderful guy. So we get into this room. Everybody's sitting down but me. And I'm going to try to find this other picture if I can, because I want to tell this in order, because this sucks. Okay, you see this guy sitting there like 3 down from me? We're all sitting there. Now, pay attention when I'm telling you. There's 100 people, 110 people that have been invited guests. So we sit down there, and I'm just having a good time, and everyone's talking to me. I'm talking to everybody. There's mostly liberals around me. And this guy decides to lean over, and this is exactly what he says. He leans.
This was great. I love this.
He leans over past my wife. He goes, "Did you get your card?" Now, not the card for seating
No.
that you described, because I didn't even know those were there.
Yeah,
He
no.
looks at me and goes, "Did you get your card? Do you get your card?" I said, No, I didn't get a card. He goes, "Oh, you didn't get a card." Yeah. I said, "Well, what's the card for?" And he goes, "Well, those of us that were invited, we have question cards.
We got to ask questions.
We submitted a bunch of questions, and Chris Cuomo's staff printed out the one question we're allowed to ask.
Yes.
And we have it on a printed card so we can form the question correctly."
That's right.
And I went, "Oh, yeah, I didn't get a card." He's like, "Oh, sorry about that." "Oh, sorry I brought it up. I didn't know you didn't have a card there, little buddy."
So you're not speaking.
I know, it's kind of
That's kind of how it was.
So he goes, "Well, you don't have your card.
You're not special."
And so, the women that are behind him that are sneering at me, they're like, "Doesn't have a card," So Simone walks by. Now, Simone is Chris's right-hand gal.
Like personal assistant.
Yeah, she gets the shit done.
Yeah.
So she comes up, she goes by, and she goes, "Oh, Mark, I'm glad you made it." And I said, "Hey," I got a dumb question. And she goes, "What is it?" Now, remember, she's standing right in front of Gen X mom, so she's right in front of this guy, too. And I said, "That guy over there got a card. Am I supposed to get a card for some questions?" And she goes, "Oh, no." She goes, "Chris doesn't want anything pre-rehearsed on you. He doesn't want a pre-written script on you. You're getting a microphone."
He's getting mic'd up.
And I went, "Oh, I'm getting a
Damn.
microphone?" She goes, "Yeah, you're not getting a card. You're getting a microphone." So she leaves. And this dude's looking at me, and I leaned out and went, "I'm getting a microphone. I ain't getting no fucking card. I'm getting a microphone." That is a true story.
I said, who gave that man a mic?
That's a true story on how that went. So right when I got it, guy's like, "Hey, buddy, look, I got a microphone right here." So they gave me a mic. And to be fair, how this all went down, there was turns out there was about 110 people in the room. There was 80 people or so with cards in their hands for questions. There was 5 people with microphones. In fact, do you remember them trying to frame that guy in the back? Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. That guy said, "Could you stand up? I want to frame you in, so when it's your turn to speak, I have
You stand up and speak, yeah.
You stand up and speak." So he did all the framing first.
Right.
So they had 100 people, 80 people had cards, 5 people had mics. 3 of us got to talk.
That was it.
The guy who got all the framing done never even stood up. He never even got a chance to say
I don't
a
think
word.
anybody with one person with a card. I
Yeah,
think it was
the girl.
one person out of everybody with
Yeah.
a card got to stand up.
And it wasn't the dipshit 3 people down from me either.
No.
So, and I thought the positioning for where I was kind of random. And so as the crowd's in there and the guests are getting ready to go before the show, we still got 10 minutes before the show. All of a sudden, Chris sees me sitting there, Chris Cuomo.
Yeah.
Makes a beeline right for me, shakes my hand, and we're talking and we're smiling. He's sitting here talking to me, to like 45 seconds before the show goes on.
Yes.
And they're calling him going, you got to get to your mark. You got to get to your mark. And he's like, yeah. And we talked. And so now this jabroni who with the fucking card guy, now he's miffed that Chris came and talked to me because Chris didn't talk to anybody else in the whole room. So here's the other thing that I didn't realize. It was positioning because this was kind of my view, or as I'm looking now, you see, there's a better picture of the audience. Now you can see I'm looking down the row of chairs, so Chris can see me clearly.
Oh yeah, you guys were face to face, like the
and
whole
I could
show.
see Chris. And what I didn't realize, I don't think either one of us planned this, but during the show, we were communicating the entire show.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You guys were like face to face.
We were hand signaling and saying stuff. And I even went like this when Trump was rambling. I was doing this.
Yes.
And Chris goes, "What do you want me to do? I can't tell Trump to go faster. You know, I can't cut Trump off." Luckily, Bill did. Bill O'Reilly stepped in and kind of cut Trump off and said, "Let's get back on," because he's doing one of his things where Trump's listing his resume, of course. And but the whole time we were hand signaling and eyebrows and communicating. I'm shaking my head.
I'm trying not to laugh. You see that I'm trying not to, like my face, I'm trying to be like professional, but I'm laughing because these two are making faces at each other the whole show.
The whole show.
Which is off camera, but they told us you never know when the camera's going to be on you. So that's why half my face, I'm like trying not to bust out laughing.
So the first commercial break comes by and they go, "We're going to commercial." Chris gets up. Where does he go? Right over to me. Walks right down the aisle, stands there, and we start talking again. He's like, "Man, this is going good, but it's dragging out." I said, "Nah, you got it on lock." Trump goes long. I said, "We're good here." And he goes, "Well, I got these other guests, and I got these things." It's flying perfectly.
Yeah.
Man.
Hey, can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
If any of you have questions about the show where we were, or any questions regarding any of the people or whatever, please put it in the chat, and the moderator will put it over into the sheets. And when we're done telling our little story, we'll answer all your questions.
I was supposed to say that. Just
so
any questions you've got right now, anything you want to know.
You want to know anybody that was there or anything
put
we
your
talked
questions
about.
right now. It could be, I don't care what your question is. Put it in your chat section. The moderators will get it to her. We'll talk about it when it's over. Just any questions you got. So the first commercial break, Chris gets up, walks right over to me again. And we were talking. And then guess who was all miffed? Guess who was all pissy? All the people next to me, they're like, "Why is Chris walking over there again? Who the fuck is this guy?" And we're just talking. We're just talking about stuff. He goes back over, goes through this whole thing till the third commercial break, walks back over to me again.
He's ignoring the whole crowd. The crowd of people that have come to Chris Cuomo's show.
And we're just shooting the shit. We're just talking about stuff.
I thought that was so cool.
Then and to kind of speed things along, because I don't think I did that great. I was okay. I wish I'd have had more time. We all do.
Everybody did.
But
that could have went on for 4 hours.
Yeah, it could have.
With as much stuff as we could have covered.
But Stephen A. and I kind of had a little talking thing. We talked a little bit about some stuff. I challenged Carville on some stuff, didn't like what he was doing. This is the picture that circulated for some reason. Is they put it up on the screen on different things as me, myself, and Stephen A. And I'm yelling like I'm pointing at him. And I didn't make this. I didn't make this picture. This was on the screen on some like promo things that went by like this is what's happening. And then you guys took the picture, and there's one of me telling Carville, "Shut the fuck up." That's I didn't say that. I mean, okay, shut the fuck up thing, and then I'm thinking about something there. But Bill O'Reilly actually cut me off from Carville because Carville said, he goes, "In World War II, there was a senator who said, 'It's my duty to oppose the president and oppose the war at this time.'"
I was like,
I have to do it. And I said, and I stopped it. I said, "Did you just say that you think it's your duty to oppose the president? Like even just because?" And then Bill O'Reilly goes, he was quoting somebody.
It was just a quoting, yeah.
Because Bill knew where I was going with that. It's like I was going to say, "You dumb motherfucker. You don't oppose somebody just for the sake of opposing them."
But Bill got you. He was like, "I got you." Like,
he's quoting him.
You.
He goes, and by then Bill had already yelled at Carville.
Oh.
Bill had come unglued.
You know what you guys don't get to see, which I thought was really interesting, was the stuff in between where there was a break.
Yep.
Like Bill was making comments about James Carville, like, we don't get along.
No.
We don't get along. We're not friends.
No.
He was making his mission to make James Carville very uncomfortable.
And then Carville started saying something, and I'm on the other side going, bullshit. That's wrong. That's bull.
Bill went right
I'm
at
not
him.
even being quiet about it. So this is stuff you didn't get to see. Anyway, so that was a picture that was in there.
It was great.
But real quick, just so you know, this isn't all of just a couple seconds, that Stephen A. and I did talk about stuff. We sorted some shit out afterwards. We talked about stuff. I told him what I was thinking and what was going on. And at the end, he agreed. He goes, yeah, I got you on that. We agreed on the position on that. He's like, man, I don't believe that either. We're on the same page. We worked that out. I got a good picture with him. Everything was fine. So that, and at the end of it, there was a couple good things that happened. I mean, I did get to speak a couple times. I think the next one I'm going to be, see, one thing you don't get to see either is the hand gestures amongst the people on the chairs.
Yeah.
Like when someone was speaking, Bill O'Reilly would tap Chris a bunch of times on his leg saying, I got something to say. And then Chris would know to come in there. I caught on to that. And what I should have done for Chris was I should have gone, I should have said, I got something to say, because he would have called on me. He would say, now hold on here. Let's hear from the audience. He would have done that.
And
for
you
me.
didn't see that Stephen A. kind of raised his finger like, I have something to
and
say.
Stephen
He
A.
put
did
it
the same
low.
thing.
And then people were asking about Stephen A.'s cell phone. He had, just so you know, he had all his questions or all his comments or the stuff that he wanted to say in his little monologue. He had it on his phone.
Yeah,
that's why he had his phone.
Everybody thought he was being rude about that,
but
I don't
wasn't.
think so. I think
No.
he had his notes and some things he wanted to remember, and they were just on his phone. He wasn't playing Brick Breaker.
No, and he wasn't talking to anybody.
No,
he had it like in his notes or something.
Stephen A. was very professional about the entire thing from the moment he walked in the studio till the moment he left. He was very professional the whole time.
I have a comment about Stephen A. too.
Okay.
I really don't think he's going to run for president. I don't think that's what he wants to do. What I think he wants to do is, he's been a sportscaster, sports commentator for years, right? The way he was presenting himself and talking off screen and stuff, it sounds like he wants to make the transition from sportscaster to news analyst. That's what I'm getting. That's the jive I'm getting for him. That he's trying to skip over to regular news.
Well, you got to realize that a run for president is 3 years away. 3 years is when you would start running for president and do your final year running. It's still 3 years out.
But I don't think he's president material. I just don't see it.
Well, that's different than saying he won't run.
But I'm just saying, I think that's what he's doing.
At this stage in the game, there's no way to know. You can't know if he's really does have those aspirations, because he might. He's popular enough. He could bring a lot of votes with him.
Popular good or popular controversial?
He's popular that he says what's on his mind. Even if you don't like him, everybody recognizes Stephen A. Smith as a guy who just says what's out there, and so that's there. There's a lot to be said about that. But overall, that's kind of the way the show went. And afterwards, Chris came right over after the show.
We had no idea the film was still going. The show is still going where everybody saw us walking around.
No, because I had people tell me that if you were watching it on News Nation, they were watching the before and after and all the handshakes and talk. I didn't know that they were still watching that. I'm trying to get a copy of that, but I'm having difficulty getting it. But he took me over to... did I do that one already? I did. I got to meet Bill, and Bill probably gave me the best compliment of the night. Chris comes over and says, Bill, you got to meet Mark Mendenhall. You got to meet. He says, Bill says, hey, how are you? And he said, well done, young man. And that was a huge compliment for me. That was a huge thing for him to say that. That was a big moment for me, because Bill's been around a long time. He could have just not said anything. And I appreciated that a lot. And then this is Ronna McDaniel.
Yes.
She came up to us actually, and she was like, that's what I wanted to say, was something like that we should be supporting the president because we're good Americans. So she came up to us and gave us a lot. She was the Republican, wasn't she the Republican National Committee?
Chair.
She was the chair, and she also ran a campaign before that for someone. I think it was in Michigan. I don't think
she's very sweet, wonderful
nice.
person, very, very nice. I mean, she would have stayed with us for quite a while,
Yeah.
like talking to us, but she had to move on. So,
and I don't think she's as deep or high ranking in the Republican Party as she used to be, just because she doesn't have that job anymore. But I think she's very active and knows everybody. She was very nice, and it was a very good compliment, and I liked it very much. And remember, the only 3 people got to speak from the audience. One of them was just the girl who stood up and asked a question. The other one was the lady who was obviously an activist.
I think she's podcast or something. Nina something. I can't remember.
She's an activist. She was polished.
Oh,
She had her speech all prepared. You know, it wasn't her. It's like you guys get upset when Trump starts running his resume down because we've all heard it 100 times, and people start saying the same thing because we've all heard it 100. This woman's speech was, I'm sure, the same speech he's given on our podcast, the same speech he's given on other shows.
She had to speak about her DEI, and I got to talk about DEI.
Yeah, she had this whole thing it was very polished, and I think if you look at it, I was the only guy who was just shooting from the hip. I was just like, well, here's what I think, and here's why it bothers me, and here's what we should be. I mean, I just rambled it. Now, you guys have all heard similar things I say, but I don't polish it up and say it in the same order. I fuck it up different every time. And I think that is a huge difference, and one of the reasons Chris and I get along so well is because, well, one of the times Chris walked over to me right before the commercial break, and I don't even know if I've told anybody this yet, he made a statement. He says, he was talking to Trump. That's right. It was right after Trump spoke. He asked President Trump, he said, Mr. President, how difficult is it for you to explain your position on tariffs and explain what your game plan is to the American people, to the news media? How much responsibility, how difficult is it to get that message across? And Trump had an answer, and the cameras go off, and he comes right over, and I go, why the fuck would you ask him that? And Chris took back. I go, who cares? Well, if I was Trump, I'd have said, I'm not explaining myself. I'm not telling you shit. My dad ran my household. He didn't explain everything he was doing to run my household. I knew, as a kid, I knew kind of what was going on. We were going to Disneyland, or we're going to a Dodger game. I kind of knew what the chores were, but I didn't know every detail. When I work for an employer, they say, hey, we're getting some new equipment. We're getting another employee. We're going to paint the building. I don't know all the details of what's going on. It wasn't my place. I go, Chris, why the fuck did you? I would have told you. I don't tell her. I'm not telling anybody shit anymore, because the more you tell people, the more they can pick apart the details. Well, why did you paint the building blue? Why didn't you paint it red? You know, how come we're going to Disneyland on Thursday? Why aren't we going on Wednesday? I go, Chris, why'd you ask him that? I go, that was, and he goes, well, I asked him that because he's had something, but he got what I was saying, but I couldn't ask Trump that. And then Bill asked a question of Trump, and I go, Chris came over after that. I go, that was a bullshit question. There was no way Trump was going to answer that. And it was about, Bill was trying to pin him down. When will we know?
Yeah.
But how
that's
far?
His journalistic thing. He's trying to get somebody to say something.
And Trump and Chris rolled his eyes. He goes, yeah, there's no fucking way he's answering that question.
Yeah.
So that was part of the interaction between the commercial breaks, that we were just quickly recapping what was just gone on in the deal there. So that was it. And then, of course, this was James Carville on his way out. Is like, yeah, he was leaving. He was leaving his chair, and Chris was like, no, stick around. And the staff had said, no, you got to stay. We're not doing the show. And I'm shaking his hand, going, get the fuck out of here. He doesn't want to stay. Let him fucking go. Who cares? Who gives a shit? That as he shook my hand and we were done talking, he turned and walked off stage. He's fucking done. Move his fucking chair. Get him out of here. He didn't want to be here. Then let him leave.
Yeah, he was really irritated by Bill O'Reilly. That's one of the reasons why he left. That's what he's saying.
Stephen A. Smith kind of went at him. I definitely went at him. Bill shut him the fuck down and said, just shut the fuck up. You know what you're talking about. And Chris was being a good moderator. He really was doing a good job, but Carville had no friends that day. I mean, the audience was, but they weren't even clapping for him. So we got that, and then I got a picture of Chris on the way out too, of course.
Just like Bill said, Carville made a comment about him being a professor in school, in college. He was a professor. And Bill goes, did they call you professor? Like they called you that? I was like, oh man.
He was a substitute teacher.
He was striking low on those.
Chris was very gracious and kind. He spent a lot of time with me. He introduced me to everybody. All of his staff already knew who I was. There was people in the crowd that came up to us because they recognized us as Gen X Talks, which was great. Chris told me, he said, look, whenever I'm doing something, if you want to be part of it, you tell me and I'll make it happen. Whatever you see me going to do, if I can get you in, I'll get you in. That was a great offer. I wouldn't know where to insert myself.
He's really a nice man. Really nice.
Great.
Really like him.
And I said, you want to do me a favor? And he goes, yeah. I said, sometimes we have Bottom of the Glass Nation shows where we call in with music trivia from the 80s and jingles from commercials from the 80s. And we do TV intros from the 70s and 80s. And you just got to listen to it and just shout it out if you know it. And he goes, you call me anytime you want. He goes, I will do that anytime you want. So, I told him, I said, well, I'll text you first to make sure you're not busy in the evening. But it's good because he's not as busy late at night.
Right.
So we can do that.
And on Saturday, I don't think he does a show on Saturday.
But he said, you call whenever you want. I'll be on your show anytime you want. So I thought that was nice of him too. But you can see I got my picture with Stephen A. Smith afterwards. And I told you, we got along great. I know a couple of you wrote, I think Shai wrote, when Stephen A. cut you off, I wanted to jump through the screen. Don't treat the general that way. I got it, Shai. I was all right. I'm a big boy. Another guy who came up to us after the show, a lot of people didn't recognize him, but everybody knows the name, sought us out, was Chris Sununu.
Yes, he did.
And he was the Republican governor of New Hampshire, I think.
But you have to tell him what happened.
4 terms.
He was sitting in his chair and it was another break.
Yeah.
And while he was like, we could reach out and probably touch him.
Yeah,
he was so close to us. And he turns around in the middle of the break and goes, you guys really have 8 kids? And we were both like, yes.
Yeah, and
he goes, I'm one of 7 and I'm the 7th one, so be kind to the 7th one. That's what he said.
Yeah. So after the show, after it was over, he got up and came right over. I think he started talking to you. I think he would have talked for a long time. He just wanted to have a conversation.
Yeah.
He stood with you for a long time there. That was when Chris drugged me off to go meet Bill and everybody else. This Chris came right over to Mary.
Really, really
super nice
man.
guy.
Really guy.
Super nice guy. The other guy we met was a guy named Greg Bello, who is one of his very best friends since childhood. And when I was talking with Chris, he was standing there and he got introduced, of course, and I didn't really recognize him. And then I said, I was talking to Chris. I said, yeah, I play some movie quotes, some movie trivia quotes. I play a soundbite from a movie. Chris goes, I'd love to do that. Call me. And Greg goes, why are you calling him? He doesn't know shit about movies. I'm the movie guy.
Yeah, I'm the actor.
I know a lot about movies. And I said, you do? He goes, yeah, you call me whenever you want. So Greg was like, I'm in movies. I'm on TV shows. He goes, Chris doesn't know shit because it's his best friend. And he says, you can call me on that stuff. So we exchanged numbers right there. And then I've been talking to him every day since a little bit, trying to get a feel for the guy. He sent me this. He goes, that's me with Demi Moore. Do you remember the name of the movie?
G.I. Jane.
G.I. Jane.
Yes.
And I think he's the guy who had the line where he was looking at it, goes, just give me 5 minutes alone with her. Just give me 5 minutes alone. I'll show you what I can do. That was his line in the movie. But he's had a bunch of these kind of parts all over the place, and he's in a series now. He sent me the link to a Vanity Fair article, and I read it. The guy's done some stuff. He's never been the top A-list guy like Tom Cruise, but he gets speaking lines, he gets roles, he does stuff. So he's going to be on the program. He'll be on our show because I've talked to him, and he's like, you call me whenever you want. I'll do the trivia. And I said, would you mind doing like a FaceTime interview, a Zoom call once I get moved? I'd like to hear how you started and how you plugged in all the way to where you are. He goes, I'd love to do that.
That'd be great.
So, this is one of those things where things can become more things. And we've slowed things down with the interviews. We slowed things down with the advertising and sponsors. We didn't do any of that. And I had that picture too, and I don't know what I did with it. Damn it. I was going to show you guys something. I just ran out of the idea. Jacob's not with us anymore. He's been gone for about 10 months or so. Daniel Edwards is still part of our production team, our brand, but he does big events. He does the Dodgers events. He did the Lakers event. He did the Angels event. He did the Pro Bowl event. He does big venue items. And that's still happening. There's still stuff coming up that we're going to be part of, and we'll let you guys know. We'll be driving back down to Southern California for the weekend, doing the bowling events and the baseball events. We'll still do those. You guys can show up for those things too. Do you guys remember Christine Matlock? Married to Ben Matlock.
Never lost a case.
Never lost a case. And you guys know, if you guys have paid attention, anything going on in Dayton and Nevada and the stuff, you know how we came to know them. And Christine's personality is larger than life. It really is. And she does a lot for the companies she's involved with. And I said, would you like to do something once we get up to Reno? We'd like to ramp up our presence as Gen X Talks again. And she said yes, she would like to be the production manager or the production liaison partnership girl. I don't know. There's a big title. If you guys
just Miss Hot and Nerdy.
Little Miss Hot and Nerdy. I call her Little Miss Hot and Nerdy because she's got a thing for Adam Sandler movies. Like, she has Adam Sandler parties at their house, and you can only show up if you're dressed as a character from one of his movies. Okay, she's weird. Whatever. Anyway, so she would be the right person to go and get all these things done because she's beautiful, she's smart, she's tenacious, she keeps working on things till they get done. I can't think of a better person to do these things than she would. And since we're now getting back up, it's like, hey, we're moving to the Reno area. Then she's already started to get in touch with radio stations there, the newspaper up there, sit down. Hey, Gen X Talk social media. They just moved from California. We planted our flag, in Nevada, in the Reno area, and do some interviews, do some stuff. Let people know we're there. Then we want to start bringing back in the interviews and having people either Zoom call or come by, fly into Reno, sit down. There's hotels there. We can go get conference rooms and set up our stuff and just have a nice little thing there for the day. Sometimes the hotel will comp you if you're mentioning that the hotel's providing this for a couple hours. There's a lot of things she can do that can make this very professional. Because we're so close to the Reno airport. Plus, we have free transportation to and from with Mike Perkins and his 1987 Ford Escort. I can't think of a celebrity out there.
Gen X Talk Uber.
That wouldn't enjoy that ride. So there's a lot of stuff coming up with Christine. We're going to go up there and have dinner with her and Ben when we get up there. And part of our move this next week, we're going to take time and go do that. We'll probably end up going to the Sun Valley Fox's house and just having a barbecue. But Christine and I need to sit down and go through a lot of the details on how this works. But she really, really wants to do it. She wants to put on events. But the problem is she's kind of like having another wife. If Christine calls and says, okay, I got a gig booked for Saturday. It pays $50. You got to be there for 4 hours, and you're doing the grand opening of a car wash. I have to go. That's kind of the way it is. And
you have to go. I don't have to go.
No, Christine's like, no, you're going, because she's got this whole thing in mind, how she's building this resume, how she's building all this stuff. So if I got to do a Soap and Suds car wash, then guess what? I'm going to Soap and Suds car wash. But I'll just drag the Sun Valley Fox there because I'll tell him there's a free car wash in it for him. He's so cheap, he'll show up.
He will.
He'll show up for a free car wash.
First of all, somebody read your title to your show tonight.
Which says?
Top Knots Rule. And let me scroll down real quick. And Civic, Christopher Civic, Danny H, G.I. Joe.
Okay, I got to erase that. I didn't do that. That is way down at the bottom. I need to scroll down to get rid of it. I forget it's even there. Briggs put that on there. I didn't do it.
Well, now you know some people read. Yeah. That end of it. So would you like to do some, are we done with our...
I don't know. Let me think. So...
let me think.
That was how that kind of stuff went there. It was a great show. It was great to meet everybody. Chris was the most gracious guy you could find. The guy, Greg, who is the actor, when we were texting, out of nowhere during the text message, he goes, I just want you to know, Chris loves you. And I was like, I don't know what I've done to deserve that, but I kind of look up to him like a little big brother right now, because he's guiding me through so many things that I would have I'd have no way of even being part of if it wasn't for him. And so I told him, I said, I really appreciate that. And more than I mean, I didn't just go, well, thanks, I appreciate that. No, I took time and articulated my feelings about Chris and said, thank you. So I hated going. The flights, I don't fly. I was white.
You're not supposed to be talking about that.
But I did go, and I think overall I'm glad I went. We're paying for it still now. And then we got one night's sleep. We got up, and then I got sick last night. I mean, violently sick for about 3 or 4 hours, which is why I have no voice right now. My voice is gone. Tomorrow, I will have no voice. It goes from screaming to a sexy voice. Tomorrow and Monday, I won't be able to talk hardly at all. But even though it hurts to do this right now, I thought I could squeeze out one show before my voice went away entirely. So yeah, I think we're done. You can ask questions now.
Okay, let's go through the sheets.
I'm almost at my limit with my voice.
That's fine. The Blind Ani, $4.99 on YouTube. Blind Love from Alabama, from the Seeing Eye Girlfriend and Myself. You know who that is. You spoke to him on the phone. The blind guy, the blind man.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, David Black is celebrating member for 34 months on YouTube tonight. Danny H received his Big Blue 2 member for 24 months on YouTube. A slacker.
2.
Spineless Wonder Boner member for 9 months tonight. Wow, 9 months here, but had a year on Facebook.
Spineless Wonder Boner. He should just change his name to Limp Dick. Go ahead.
The Disney Kid is a member for 35 months tonight on YouTube. Evening to Handsome General and Lovely Queen, Mama X. Glad to be a part of the best bar ever. Jeremy Underhill, member for 8 months. Sorry, you did a great job at the town hall. Get better soon, General. Jeremy B. Jeremy Underhill. Sorry, Jeremy B. Jeremy Underhill. This was Jeremy Underhill.
Underhill, like the credit card that Fletch uses at the country club.
Zadian Willis, member for 1 month. We need coins in Illinois, LOL. We'll get right on that.
We're going to be in Indiana anyway, apparently, so.
Sahara H sent 5 Gen X Tops membership tonight. Danny H, and Sierra H both sent 5 memberships tonight.
Thank you guys for doing that. Appreciate that a lot.
Mathanani in Facebook says, how about a coin in Tennessee? There's a possibility.
I think we did one in Tennessee. I think there's one still there, or somebody got it. We might have got one. I'll look it up.
Okay. Houdini, Spot and Stock You, Star Roberts, and T-Bone 76 all gifted 5 memberships tonight. Thank you guys so much
Appreciate
for
when
everything.
You guys do that. It means
That's
way
amazing.
more than you know.
T-Bone is a member for 6 months tonight. Thank you, T-Bone. Florida Man, our own birthday kid tonight. Member for 23 months on YouTube. Ravens wants to know, was this the first time in New York?
I've been to New York before, a couple of days driving through and looking at things, but it was 30 years ago. Gen X Mom had never been there before, so she was completely in awe of everything.
I was looking out the window like a little kid.
She was hanging out the window like a golden retriever trying to see everything.
I was. Drop 'em. Wait. How was flying, General? That is for another day.
Not good.
We are going to put that on the podcast, so you'll have to listen to the podcast. Danny H, $5 on YouTube. Hats off to Overlord Pineapple for putting it on stage in Discord for several of us to watch along. That was fabulous.
That was really good. I got a lot of compliments from people that he did that. Trippy Pineapple, senior executive staff member
Trippy.
here at Gen X Talks, found a way to put that on Discord for you guys to watch it live. If you guys were having trouble, he had it up. That was great.
Christopher Sevick asked the question about Stephen A on his cell phone, which we answered. He had his notes on there. That's what he was doing. Danny H was, can you say bromance? I know you can. You and Chris Cuomo.
I was saving something. Danny, hold on. Danny H, hang on a second. I don't mean to do this in front of everybody, but since we're here and the moment feels right, and you and I have, let me just hang on. I got it somewhere. Just hang on. Oh, I got it. Here it is.
Oh my gosh. Spineless Wonder Boner wants to know, were you mad when they talked over you?
No. That happens all the time with people, and the panelists are the ones who are more there than we are. So, I mean, it was when they shut you up a little bit or talk, you just let it go. If I ever get to a position where I'm more able to speak, I wouldn't never say equal, but if I have the chance of being more liberal with it, then I would fire back. But I believe that by Chris's reaction after the show, he was very happy with the level of participation that I gave him. I didn't just insert myself and ruin the evening, as most of you thought I was going to.
Kevin Grimes, General, did they give you a name card for your wheelchair?
They did not. They just had a seat. I just brought my chair because I can walk and I can sit in those other chairs. But the one thing I learned about coming in with a wheelchair, I pushed my wheelchair in. No one pushed me in there. I pushed my chair in there. It's my fucking seat. I know right how it feels. I'm not going to be cramped. No one's going to be elbowing me because we're sharing too small of a seat. Fuck that. When I come with my wheelchair, I picture it kind of like a golden throne. My chair
portable.
goes there, and I sit comfortably wherever I want. That's how I feel.
Portable. Okay, so Johnny over on Facebook wants to know, was Stephen A. Smith an asshat in real life?
No, Stephen. I told you guys, Stephen A. Smith was completely professional the whole way through. How he conducts himself when he's doing sports analysis and political analysis, stuff like this. Yeah, he's got a little bit of a character he turns on about how he looks away from you,
and he gets louder,
and he gets loud. Because no one's done this to Stephen A. Smith ever in his entire life, as far as I know. I want to get into a situation with him where we're discussing something. He goes, now, hold on there, Mark. I want to tell you something, and I want to talk about it, because he always looks away. I want to go, Steve, I'm over here, buddy. I want to interrupt him. I don't think anybody's ever done that. I want to catch him cold. Go, Steve, I'm right here, my man. I know you're looking off in the sunset, arguing and yelling and getting louder, but I'm right here. I want him to turn and go, I know where you are. I want to break him.
That's how I felt when his voice got louder. I'm like, I'm 3 feet from you, dude. I'm 3 feet.
I know.
I can hear you.
I didn't. There's so many times that I wanted to jump out and say something, and I held back because I think it was I won't get invited back. I got to be careful. I got to be respectful of the situation too. So, if there's another chance, maybe I'll say more each time, but I haven't intentionally fucked things up on the other times I was with Chris, and then he invited me here. And if I don't fuck this up, maybe I'll get to go to something else. I just got to keep pushing in that direction. I still said my piece. I still called people out. I think I think I need to keep myself in perspective that I'm still like this. That's important to remember when you're doing that stuff.
Yeah. Mary over on Facebook, does Carville spit when he talks with a laughy face?
No, I don't think so.
No. Houdini for $5. Steve just has a way of speaking to piss you off, even when he 100% agrees with you.
That's true. That's
what
a good
Houdini
analogy.
said.
That's fair.
Stony B Gaming, member for 23 months on YouTube, says, this is awesome. I hate that I missed it. I think you can go watch it.
I'm trying to put up a page on our website that has all the stuff. It has all the pictures, all the clips, all the things from New York and everything, and the show, the whole length of the show. Give me a couple of days and I'll put the whole thing up there for you guys.
All right. Christopher Sevick. So the answer we need, General, will St. Donna start doing your makeup at the Loop Studio?
I'm not getting any makeup done. I didn't need any makeup done then. It didn't change my face at all. Okay?
Oh my gosh. Dan over on Facebook, you keep forgetting that these politicians, including the president, work for us. It's not the other way around. Your father and your boss isn't an elected official. It's not the same thing.
Okay, say that again.
Wait, Dan says.
No, I know what he's saying. Say that again.
You keep forgetting that these politicians, including the president, work for us. Correct.
Yeah,
Got it.
but that doesn't mean...
It's not the other way around.
But that doesn't mean they have to explain every detail of what they're doing. Does President Trump have to tell me what time he's going to bed? Does President Trump have to tell me if he's having 2 sodas or 3 for lunch? Does he have to tell me where he's going and what he's doing all day? I don't need to know all those details. Just because, see, your attitude of President Trump... You work for us. You will tell us everything you're thinking. In fact, I want a list of how you're negotiating with China. My point is, he should turn around and go, there's some shit I'm not going to fucking tell you. I'm the president. Go about your day. Be a plumber, be a mechanic, bake cookies, whatever you're doing. I'll let you know I'm negotiating tariffs with China. That's it.
I'm doing my job. You do yours.
You guys all press him for more and more and more. At some point, I'd say, none of your fucking business. For you to say, well, he works for us. You work for... No, that does not give you the right to ask every little tiny detail of what he's doing. You can ask when it's over. You can ask when it's done. And I'm not trying to hide behind national security. Well, you can't know everything. There's national security issues involved. I could have said that. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's no fucking way that guy, Trump, doesn't even know everything he's going to say to China because these situations are very fluid. He's got 30 different options. He's going to plug them in as he goes. And he's certainly not going to tip his hand telling jabroni like you because you'll say it out loud and then China will get the skinny on what's going on. He can't go on NBC and go, well, here's my 30 cards I'm going to play when I sit down with President Xi. These are my... He's not going to tell you. And we should know when Chris pressed him on that, it's like, well, how do you explain yourself? And then Trump had an answer. I would have said, I'm not explaining myself. I'm running things around here. You don't even know every single detail of how I'm running it. That's how I feel. You may feel differently, but there has to be a little bit of separation between church and state. You know, you can't be some 30-year-old dock worker and pound the front door of the White House going, I need to know everything going on right now. And you work for me, asshole, and so you better start explaining your shit. I don't think that's reasonable. What do you want, kid? Briggs says, enter the studio.
Text me what you want for a leadership.
Okay. Right now.
Right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
Right now.
You can be like, Gen X mom's going to go off for a second. She's going to text me.
All right. I'll send it to you.
Okay. Kel Riken has got his big blue 2 tonight.
He shouldn't even be here. It's his anniversary.
He just checked in.
Shouldn't. He's in trouble.
Diabolito, 200 stars sent. He said cheers from Facebook. Laura says, how did the general do on the plane ride? That will be revealed on the podcast, so you'll have to wait for that. Star Roberts, are they opening a new car wash in Minden or Dayton?
I'm not doing car washes.
Christopher Sevick said, would you be willing to fly back out there again if asked? You're going to hear it here first. Will he?
So you got me in a catch-22 here because...
Let's see what he said.
If Chris Cuomo called and said, hey, we're doing another show like this one, only you get to interrupt people and say more shit, I might try to drive there. But if I had to fly, I would like to say yes. But if I go out there twice to New York for Chris... and I refuse to go places for my wife because I tell her I'm not flying, I don't fly, I'm not flying. She will quickly turn this around and say, you're flying for Chris, you can fly for me. You see, I got to be,
Amen.
That's a very fine line. I got to be careful.
Yeah, you better watch it, big boy. I'll make you go. Valerie Walker on YouTube, ask Chris how COVID and what he went through has changed him.
I'm not going to do that. I know the whole story on how he was anti the ketamine, anti this, and he blasted Trump for it. Then he got sick, and the only thing that saved him was what Trump was promoting. And so he took it, and he had to eat crow. And I'm not going to bring that up. Everybody knows that. I'm not there for gotcha moments with Chris. And if you think I am, then you're watching the wrong channel.
Chef John, were the beds in New York better than Twin Arrows?
Everything's fucking better than Twin Arrows. Sleeping on the sidewalk on 42nd Avenue would have been better than Twin Arrows. Yes, everything was better than Twin. The shitty seating coach was better than Twin Arrows beds.
Wow. Sean MacArthur, 500 stars for Sammy and Trippy Baby Pineapple Fund. Enjoy, family. 500 stars sent. Scott Royston gifted 5 Gen X Talks memberships on YouTube. Sandy on YouTube, member for 30 months. So thrilled you're getting the attention you deserve. Big hug, she said.
Thank you.
Sean MacArthur, 200 stars for the handsome general and beautiful Mama X. Moving Fund. Enjoy. Thank you, Sean MacArthur, so much.
I'll tell you what, that everybody who's dropping money for the moving fund, thank you, because I had to pay extra for stuff out there and back because it was on me that we weren't expecting to pay. And that set us back a lot on our moving fund. We can still do it, but it really hampers that. So all the times that you guys are even chipping in $20, I promise you that helps a ton. So thank you for doing that, because the moving fund is still the biggest part of getting us to where we need to be, which is we're getting out of California into Nevada and planting our flag. It's just, a lot of it is about money. I won't get into all the complications. We got everything covered so far, but the moving money I set aside for moving, already gone. It's already used up. So thank you guys for doing that. Super appreciate that.
Firewood Art, member for 1 year on YouTube. So we are not making a Nevada run tomorrow, right?
No.
We are going to rest for a couple days, right?
Yeah, well, we're resting tonight.
Yeah, we've been resting. We gotta get up and do a few things tomorrow. Sherman Davis on YouTube. Hydrate, General.
If I drink water right now, my throat will get worse.
You don't have any more of my Beema's special elixir?
Jim Beam, whiskey and honey.
Yes. Scott Royston, member for 19 months on YouTube. I know I have more years behind me, but it has been a huge joy being here, just growing with Gen X Talks and Bottom of the Glass Nation. I love you so much, handsome General and Mama X. Thank you, Scott, so much.
So is there anything I'm missing about the experience? What did you think about the whole thing? I mean, I don't want to say you were drug along through this, but was it upsetting to you to be part of it? Or, I mean...
No, what was really fun was, I wasn't nervous because I know I wasn't going to be answering any questions. It was really fun to sit, and I loved the behind the scenes stuff, the stuff that we just never...
Yeah.
You never get to see as you're watching TV, as much as, they bicker back and forth. And then when the TV goes off, they're like friends again. It was a great debate. It was nice to see a mix of people, because there were Republicans there were Democrats, there were independents, and everybody got along even after. There wasn't like a fight broke out or anything. It was just really nice. It was just a crazy 48 hours. I mean, I haven't had a 48 hours.
How did you feel about, the whole thing of going? And
I thought it was fun. I thought it was just a blast. I really did. I enjoyed the whole time. And you did so great. You did fabulous on it.
So
I was proud to sit next to you.
Were you?
Yes, I was.
Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome. What a way to spend our anniversary.
No kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't even feel like our anniversary that day. It was crazy.
One thing that happened, we got out of the show, got out of the building, walking back to the hotel. It was about midnight. And my knee gave out on 42nd Street. My knee popped, and I'm like...
That's memorable. Knee gave out on 42nd Street.
My mother, I'm sitting here going, I'm going to get mugged out here on 42nd Street because I can't walk. It took me a minute to get back. I almost went down. Didn't go down, but it snapped. But we've been pushing ourselves too hard. So, and then we get back. What kind of fucking place doesn't have room service at midnight? I thought New York was a city that never sleeps. Or was that Las Vegas?
We couldn't get, because their midnight was our 9.
Yeah.
So we were hungry.
Yep.
And we were trying, and we were like, then we looked at each other, and I think we crashed. Like, we powered down. After that, we were like, we'll just go to bed.
I remember the sinking feeling. Once you told me there was no food, I said, fuck it.
We're just going to bed.
I got into my night gear, and I fell into that bed, and I didn't wake up till we had to get up and go in the morning.
We slept all night. We were so tired. We were so tired. Star Roberts for $20 for the moving fund, folks. God bless. Thank you so much, Star Roberts.
Thank you for that, Star Roberts.
Danny H wants to know how contract negotiations went. We did not.
We didn't do anything, and we were sitting apart from each other on several of the flights, which we'll get to in the podcast. We didn't have time to talk about anything. It was always, what's next? What's next? Okay, you get off the plane, got to race to the next gate. Get off the plane, got to find the car service. Okay, we got to get to the hotel, got to check in, got to get cleaned up, got to grab some food, get to the show.
Yeah.
I mean, there was always what's next. For this whole...
And just so you guys know, I had wheelchair service. So every time we landed, there was somebody waiting to take him. And so I would tell that person, just go to the next gate and I'll meet you there. So a lot of times walking through the airport, we were even separated.
Yeah,
like it was crazy.
I walked as much as I possibly could.
Yeah.
But some of those airports, it was like walking a mile. And I'm trying to hurry. So when she called for United, it was great. They're like, look, we got a wheelchair and we got a dude who can push you. I'm like, fuck, thank you.
Ooh,
so I was
sorry.
put down there and then we talked. But even at the airports, I'm getting recognized, and people are coming up, and one guy came all the way.
We'll talk about that later.
That's right. Can't talk about that.
We'll talk about all those things later. Cricket on YouTube gave $20 for the moving fund. Very proud of you and to see you on News Nation, she said.
You. So I guess I'm asking you guys, I submit this to the jury, which is you. I can see the comment section go by. Is this thumbs up, I did okay? Thumbs down, I embarrassed you guys. I just want to make sure that I'm living up to, not only our generation of common sense, but, I'm taking Gen X talks in the bottom of the glass nation right to the heart of it as best I could.
Valerie Walker, who asked about the COVID thing, she says, I'm Canadian and didn't get any of what happened to Chris, except he was fired on CNN. And I was wondering how News Nation came to be, like how he got to where he was.
I actually learned that while we were there. He got fired and went through a bunch of shit. He had kind of given up on everything, just like, okay, I'm done. He had enough money saved up. He could just live, and he was going to do a little podcast, and that was it. And I think his personal assistant. Yeah,
we found out about that.
Not Simone, who was doing the business end of it, but like at his home and she does all of his
like
stuff.
His agent. I don't think it was his agent.
No,
but
I think that may be right. His publicist.
Oh, publicist. That's what it was. His publicist.
Anyway, she talked Chris into. You
Coming
can't just sit. You got to just keep going. And he goes, I don't want to. It's over. I'm off CNN. Where else would I go? And she kept pushing him until he got a gig on News Nation. He's got his podcast, the Chris Cuomo Project. He's got major guests. He's got endorsements. He's got backers now. And people on both sides of the aisle. I looked at one clip of that show, and there was 2,000 comments. All of them said, I used to hate you, but I love that you're in the middle looking for the truth. I used to not like you, but what you're doing now makes me want to watch you. I hated you, but I'm subscribing. I didn't care for you. And they were all either good, positive things or this negative that I didn't like you, but now I do. And I sent that article to Chris today. And I said, look at this write-up you got. I go, you're changing the way people are watching the news now. They're coming to you because of this, but it's taken him 2 years
because
or 3 years.
He's neutral. He's trying to be neutral.
He's
Finally,
trying to be fair.
Somebody,
and he'll tell you, I'm a Democrat. I'm liberal. He'll tell you that, but he'll tell you, I'm trying to be fair about everything we're assessing here. And I'm telling you, he is winning people over. And it's through effort and it's through hard work. Him and Brian Kilmeade got to be the two hardest working guys in news right now with the radio, the podcast, and the TV shows that they do. It's got to be two of the hardest working guys and never quit. Chris never sleeps.
Jeremy B. just said, Chris really turned my viewpoint on him around during that town hall. That's what he said.
That's what he did to me in other things he's done. I started watching him and paying attention going, well, okay, that was kind of a good point. That was kind of a good point. Well, that was a reasonable way to look at this. But I think
I enjoy it. What you guys don't know is that Chris Cuomo and the General talk quite a bit. And they do have debates and discussions about each side of the aisle and where they stand and stuff like that. And there's never they each listen to each other's side, and I really appreciate that. So he's not coming back with, well, this is how it goes because I'm a Democrat. He's actually listening to somebody's side of the story.
And these are stuff I don't tell you guys every time I talk to Chris. I don't tell you everything we've ever said. It doesn't really matter. It's not important. It's just that I guess it would be important for you guys to know that those conversations do happen once in a while. And I think that Chris losing that job at CNN and all the stuff he's gone through, being sick and with this, I think, I don't know how it would change me. Wouldn't it change you? And I think he's come out of it a better person. I think he's taken a lot of the good things about his life and kept them. I think he left some of the drama at CNN and some of the one-sidedness, and he decided consciously, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to do what I want, not what CNN wants. I'm not going to toe the line. And I think right now he's winning people over in droves because he's trying very hard to be fair about both sides and both things. I'm enjoying where he's at, and I'm enjoying the level of participation he's affording me. I couldn't be more thankful. I'm grateful to him. And I mean, if something came up, I would say something to him that I didn't like. But so far, he's been nothing but kind and wonderful.
All right. I'm going to end tonight with the last comment from Nana A, member for 30 months on YouTube. You did just fine, General. It was a pleasure to watch. A proud moment for Gen X, and hope you feel better soon. That's a great way to end it.
My throat's killing me.
Yeah, we're good.
You guys, I got to go. Thank you guys for tuning in. Say good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
Wherever you're listening in from around the planet, AM, FM, Sirius XM, or perhaps you tuned in on the Armed Service Radio Network. Remember 2 things in life. Number 1, wherever you go, there you are. Number 2, well, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. I'm out, baby.